Hello, everybody. Sorry that we're running a couple minutes late, but we're here right now. Thank you all so much for joining our webinar today. We have a question up on the screen, and the question is, are you planning to redesign or update your facility in the next 2 years? So if you all saw last month, we had released our 2021 online booking study, and we also paired that with an end of year survey that we had done where we asked a lot of folks, how did you navigate through 2021? How did that look like for you? Are you planning any big things for 2022, 2023? Redesigns or updates or rebranding? And I forget the exact number, but there were several of you that had mentioned to us that you're planning on updating or redesigning your facility. So let us know in the chat, do you have any big plans? Are you going to do a kitchen? Are you planning on putting in new attractions? Let us know. We want to hear it. Eileen, what are you seeing? Do you see that a lot of customers, are planning on doing an update in the next 2 years?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody has been really excited about, start adding new attractions to up their parties of, the value, and add those new attractions into their party packages. We do have people also adding new food. So I mean, it depends on your area. What makes you unique in your area is not the same thing that's going to make somebody else unique in a different area. So you just got to know what that uniqueness is and add that really cool food and get a great description and a great image.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What about you, Meg? Do you see that a lot of, prospects that you're talking to are planning on doing updates, trying to invest into different attractions and so on?
It's not necessarily updating their new facility, it's opening new facilities. So they're actually trying to decide what to put into an empty space. So they're building their plan, their business plan, the product that they're going to stick in, and then thinking about what is their target market, right? Are they going into the soft play world? Are they building a VR facility? Are they building something that's laser tag and bowling based, right? Deciding if it's a multiple attraction location. So what did the survey say that everybody took last year, Laura? What was the focus on that? What did they say?
I don't remember the exact stat that we received, but I want to say like well over 30% of folks said that they're planning on some sort of update or redesign. So adding a kitchen,
Nice.
adding new attractions. And then, yeah, definitely a lot of people are looking to open, franchise out or open new locations. And we just had someone in the chat that said, that they're planning, Paula, hi Paula, that you're planning on opening a new facility this year. So there are a lot of big changes that are happening for sure. Cool. Well, if anybody else wants to answer this question, pop your answer in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the intro here. Today, we're going to talk to United Play about finding the right attraction mix for your FEC. So we are very excited to talk about this today. First of all, thank you all for joining us. I know that now is still busy season in our industry. There's a bunch of different places where you could be right now managing your business, but we're just super grateful and honored that you're taking this hour out of your day to get a little bit of more knowledge from the experts. So, hey, we're very appreciative about that. If you all are new to our webinar series, we're Party Center Software, and we are fueled by Party Center Pay. That's our payment processing system. We're all about helping you stop chasing and start booking. So we're all about automating party booking and helping you to grow your business. There's a lot of different features that we have as part of our software, from point of sale to digital waivers, and of course, party booking. So check us out on our website if you'd like to know more. And we, of course, cater to the FEC industry. We work with soft play facilities, trampoline parks, you name it, we've probably worked with them. So we're all over the place in the industry. But we're more than just a software too. We're also business builders, and we really pride ourselves on this fact. So if you ever went to our website, you'll see that we have a great new resource center, webinars, ebooks that we do every month. We also have the PCS Academy as well. So this is a new initiative, a new project that we put together at the end of last year, where you can create a free account and access all of our webinars, all of our ebooks and guides, as well as premium webinars and premium resources. You just make a free account and you get all of that content. We also do a lot of videos for YouTube as well, so it's all linked in there. And if you're a customer and need help with, onboarding new staff to using PCS, well, we have a training portal that our support team put together with a lot of great content and videos on everything from how to, do refunds through Party Center, how to do reporting, and all these different things that are in our software. So if you want, head over to this link right here, partycentersoftware.com/PCS Academy sign up, and you can make yourself a free account today and access all that great content. So without further ado, we have some great team members from PCS on the panel today. So Megan, she's our lead customer success consultant. We also have Courtney, and they will help you with everything from business consulting to facility planning. They're here to give you great advice and link you to the right product. And yeah, we're all about supporting your growth efforts here. We also have our customer success team. So Miss Eileen, she's the queen of all the good ideas. So call her up for marketing advice and any sort of consulting. We also have a new addition to our team, Danielle Harden. She's our new customer success manager. So she's really great. And please connect with her if you haven't already. Marketing team. So Rebecca is not here today. She's our director of everything at PCS. She just had a baby yesterday, so she's on maternity leave. But she'll be back with us soon. I'm Laura. If you all haven't met me yet, I'm the marketing manager here. And of course, we have a new addition to our team as well. And she is Araceli. She's our sales, marketing, and social media assistant. So if you're seeing really cool videos on our Instagram right now, that's all her. So definitely connect with us if you need any sort of consulting or marketing advice. We're here for you and to support you in that as well. Our guests today are Bob and Dave. They work for United Play. Bob is a serial entrepreneur with over 40 years of experience in this industry. Dave is an expert from everything from mini golf to ninja courses. He has designed thousands of attractions and contributed to the design of over 200 FECs, if that's right. Bob and Dave, thank you so much for joining me today. We're so happy that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd love for you, Dave, maybe start us off if you could introduce yourself also.
Yes. I apologize for the slight movement before. I am at Birthday University and I'm in a hotel aisle right now, so trying to get a quiet space here. I am one of the partners of United Play. We are the U.S. arm of the largest amusement attraction company in the world, and we supply. It's easier for me to put it this way. We supply everything in the industry except laser tag, arcade games, and bowling. Everything else in the industry we supply, and of course services like you guys do. So I've been doing this. I helped design one of the first family entertainment centers ever built in 1985. And I also have been an owner operator, like many of the people that are on these panels today with you. From 2008 until 2012, I was the managing partner of a facility in Indianapolis in Indiana. And so I do have feet on the ground experience as well. So.
Awesome. And Bob, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here. I apologize. I'm also traveling today. I'm in Dubai, so hopefully you can hear me okay. But I actually met Dave Wilson almost 9 years ago when I was asked to be an investor into a group of trampoline parks. And after doing a little homework and seeing what an exciting field it was, my buddies and I decided maybe we would do something on our own. So we started United Play. We started Uptown Jungle, which became a nice brand in California. We then expanded to Arizona and then into Nevada. We currently have locations. And then I also started United Play with Dave after we met, about 2.5, 3 years after we had met, we started United Play. And like Dave said, we now build for entrepreneurs all over the nation. and we're having a blast.
Awesome. Well, again, we're so happy that you two are on with us today. Let's get into these questions, right? So how would you describe the current state of the FEC industry? Bob, why don't you kick us off?
Well, it's an exciting time to say the least. It's COVID has definitely been a struggle, and we all know that it's been a real long couple years. But the good news is, as we as humans have been cooped up in our homes and in our homes basically, we are all anxious to get back to norm. And so what's been really exciting for us, we've seen a big uptick in interest from United Place standpoint. A lot of people really excited to get into the field, people who've been waiting for a while. And we were actually pretty fortunate to have been very busy through the COVID season, only because we had clients that had already funded before the epidemic hit. And something else kind of interesting for those that are watching, when our parks opened up, reopened up, my parks that I own, in June and July of last year, coming kind of out of COVID. If you remember, we had that nice resurgence of, COVID kind of going behind us. It was the summertime. We actually saw a massive uptick in sales and in some of our parks hitting record numbers, even over those numbers that we saw, in our grand opening months. So it's an exciting time to be part of this great business.
That's awesome. Absolutely. I mean, we even saw that over 30% of our customers had a record-breaking year last year. So we're excited to see that growth this year. Dave, why don't you tell us, how would you describe the state of the industry right now?
Well, it's funny because I'm actually at Birthday University, and because of COVID, a lot of the seminars had been moved. So I'm on the end of a 3-week run here. Bob and I were at Foundations 2 weeks ago. We were at 360 last week, and now I'm at Birthday University here. And what we see happening is a ton of energy there. You had spoken about new facilities opening up, Meg, and stuff like that. There is a tremendous amount of interest in new facilities opening up in our industry. Money is cheap now, and I would also say that what has happened in the world with regard to things like Amazon and people doing a lot of shopping online has opened up retail spaces around the country that make the ability for potential owners to seek locations much easier and much less expensive. And that has become a very positive factor, I think, to our industry. There's a lot more opportunity now than ever before. So that's what I'll say there.
Absolutely. Now, on the flip side, we are experiencing a lot of issues in terms of staffing and hiring well, right? Bob, how can FECs work around some of the staffing issues that they're experiencing right now?
Well, it's definitely a difficult time, and it appears that it's not just our industry; it's everybody. I recently heard a gal that works with us. She has a friend whose son went out to McDonald's and was offered a job. He turned it down, and then they came back and offered him, I think it was $23 an hour. I kid you not. I even said
Wow.
that, and they said they were so desperate for people that they offered him an 8-week contract or 6-week contract, $23 an hour. So these are some of the dilemmas of, with all the stuff that the government did to help people get through this difficult time. But, I think with the right attitude and the right kind of promotion and marketing of how your culture of your company, right, you can really still bring on great people. So as difficult as it might be out there, I think there's some things you can do to differentiate yourself. For instance, let's just say you're going to run an ad. Instead of just putting the typical written ad that's going to say, hey, here's the job description, here's the kind of people we're looking for, why not attach a video with it that shows the park? Maybe it has the owners in it, something kind of fun and light. And the other thing that I really like is if you could take the approach to be really honest with what the job is like. Say, hey, this is a fun place to be. We have great customers. We have a lot of fun here. It can get stressful at times, but we all work on this together. And if you're the kind of person that enjoys, these kind of environments and these types of things, you're a great fit for us. And so, it's not always the money, although we know that that's a big part of why people do what they do. The minimum wage in California is going to be, I think, upwards of $17 coming June. So you can imagine the effect of that, right, for everybody. But beyond the money, if you can say we're a place that cares about our people, we're not just here to have you come and fill a job for us. We'd like to help develop you as a young person, whether you're high school, college. What can you do to increase or to create an environment where they can increase their knowledge and their experience so that their next job is even better? We say, hey, we realize you're not going to be here forever, but while you're here, we hope you love it. So those could be some things that can kind of help when you're hiring, right? And just making sure that you're focused on the things that are going to help your company grow and stay strong. Training is a big part of that. So I would say corporate training, culture training is going to be a big part of success in the future in this area.
Absolutely. And even offering some opportunities for growth. I mean, there's a lot of teens that work at these facilities. So even offshooting like social media to them would be great for them to start experimenting, right? But then also for your facility to grow on social. So there's a lot of opportunities like that owners can offer.
Yeah. The traditional ways of hiring are definitely changing. Using social media. In fact, Dave's over at Birthday University right now. Frank Price does a great job explaining, hey, these are some things you can do to really separate yourself. Another fun thing we do is when we hire, we'll put everybody in a group session. And I've learned that if it's kind of a fun experiment, if you kind of leave the room a little disorganized after every group interview, and then as people walk in, you'll say, hey, would you mind just getting the chairs organized? And you can kind of see who the standouts are, right? Who's going to be the ones that are going to organize and help? And then another one could be, say, hey, what's so-and-so, John, what's your favorite dance song on the radio today? So let's say they, pick a song, and then you have somebody else pull it up on their phone, start playing it out loud, and then you just say, anybody in the mood to dance for us today? And you can kind of see who the ones are that are willing to step up and dance, do a little jig or a move here and there, right? But those are the ones that are going to make great party hosts. And so you can learn a lot about people just through the simple interview process. And group interviews kind of take the pressure off in some ways, and it makes it more fun. And there's ways to really kind of gamify the interview process, and then just take a boatload of notes, right? That's a great way to start.
If I can put in just a couple of points from one of the seminars I heard today. One of the biggest issues that operators are having is actually getting people to come in and apply for jobs. And it was discussed that many sage operators are using either their PR firm or their advertising firm to actually make videos that'll entice kids to come in, the correct generation to actually come in and be part of these kind of not so much training, but evaluation seminars by ownership, where they just kind of try to pick out which kids are going to be the best ones to come work for you. And then the other thing that's been discussed, and this is an internal thing that can be done by good operators, is to now that staff is not available, so immediately start to cross-train your staff so that they can take over other positions within your facility in the time of need. Because now if someone calls out, one of the owners that was in the seminar I was just in is in a frantic mood because 2 people called out, for this weekend, and she has to fill it, but she doesn't have anybody to fill it with. So, if you're in a position where you're able to get your complete staff that's there now cross-trained in other areas, including all the managers, at least you're going to have an ability to supply coverage when it's needed at this time. So.
Absolutely. That is very important. And hence why we also created the PCS Academy that I introduced at the beginning. It's a great tool to use to, make sure that all the staff is trained on how to use the software. Yeah, that's a great tip. So what are you all seeing in terms of attractions? Like, are owners adding new attractions, or is there more of a focus on theming, changing the theming, redesigning facilities? Bob, let us know. What are you seeing?
Well, it kind of depends on the industry that you're in, right? There could be everybody here from bowling centers to indoor amusement parks with thrill rides and roller coasters, to our type of clients with United Play that are more like the adventure parks, the ones with the trampolines, climbing walls, and all the elements that go with it. So if you don't mind, I'll kind of take the angle from an adventure park today. It's one that we know a little bit more intimately. But there are some trends happening, and because of the cost of labor, it's just skyrocketing everywhere. We've been really working hard as a team, Dave and I, and we have a new designer with us who's phenomenal. It's almost 40 years of major experience, everything from, he's got an Oscar under his belt, believe it or not, for an Academy Award for working in film to building movie sets. So we're really working hard to create things that don't require labor to run them, so that they're still fun, have fun activities about them. One of them is a feature we have called the glider rail, which allows a kid, it's about 68 feet long, it can even be an adult, but any participant can hop up on a deck, basically grab a big rope that comes down with a ball on it, take about 3 steps and then ride this roller coaster down straight ahead, and then goes back up on the other side with its own personal inertia. So it only goes by gravity and the power of their body to push it. And it comes back up on the other side with a matching deck on the other side that they can then hop off, and then another person can ride it the other way. And it's over, we have it over an airbag or a padded area. But this would be a perfect example of something simple, but yet very fun. We call it our low velocity thrill ride. In other words, it's just fast enough to have fun, but we don't have to put a harness on them. It doesn't require any labor to manage it. It's kind of self-running, if you will. I'm actually in Dubai, and it's interesting. I got to bring my wife with me. And yesterday, for the first time, she experienced VR. And Dave will tell you the funny story that the first time that he tried, the first time that he actually tried VR was with the zombies. We did the Hologate. Hologate is amazing. And Dave said, I'm doing my Dave invitation. Yeah, I had nightmares for weeks, but she sorry, Dave, I hope you don't mind that bad impersonation, but she had a blast. And then there were some other virtual games with projection on the wall, and she was actually running in place. So I think we're going to see a lot more happening with electronic aspect, the digital aspects of our business. And quite frankly, I think the perfect mix is to have the physical with the digital, so that they can still have physical movement, interaction, but have kind of a game-like experience. So we'll see where that goes in the future.
Can I ask a question, Laura, so Bob, when you're thinking about adding those 2 different styles of attractions like that, do you think, I guess Dave can answer too, is there an age range that you should kind of focus on, especially since those are 2 completely different styles of attractions? Physical and virtual is great, but where do you go for age ranges?
Very good question, Megan. And actually, we work hard as a company to cater to, if you break the industry down, it's interesting. You have that kind of, I'll say 1-year-old, but 1-year-olds don't play yet. It's like that 2 to 5-year-old range, the toddler range. And I would say that's going to be something a lot more simplistic. They're very, very happy in the physical realm, just playing with things, climbing, jumping around things. We did an installation in San Antonio, Texas for our client Airtopia. And we built an extremely elaborate pre-built toddler play area that had these beautiful padded stairs and everything. You know what's so funny? Those little stinkers, they're so cute. They disassembled the entire staircase because they were basically big blocks, and they built their own stuff out of it. And then we realized that that's what they really want to do. And so we've done this in the past, but it was really interesting to see. I mean, we built these hexagon little playhouses and futuristic play stuff. They were gathering it all together to make their own environment, right? So there's that industry, that side of the business, the 5 and under. But when it comes to the older kids, I would kind of say It starts at around 8 or 9. And, you know, the kids that are playing video games at home with their dad or with their friends, those are the ones that we kind of have our eyes on. We had a long discussion on this yesterday. You know, these kids are, how do we put it? For most of our viewers, no, that's not even right. For viewers like me in their 50s, I didn't have video game. We had Pong and Pac-Man when I was in high school. But, you know, Pong was about all we had. But I remember that stupid Pong going back and forth. We would sit for hours and play that. So I can only imagine if you're really good in gaming. So I have my youngest son is 24. He grew up playing games. He would be a good audience, you know, for people who are influenced. So anything kind of like in the last 15, 20, 25 years, they grew up with video games. I think they're going to be a good market. But I think kids 9 to 17, 9 to, 18, somewhere in that range, they're going to want to mix. And I think VR by itself is super fun. But I think down the line, there needs to be a mixture of it. Right now, Valo Motion, they have a new feature where you walk into an arena and they've got video projection on the walls and you interact with the things around you. They don't require any goggles. This is one of the features we want to sell. We like the fact that it feels more open and more interactive. And so, you have everything from the VR with the headsets that is like fully immersive experience to something a little bit more open arena style. And I think we're going to see more and more of a mix of those two things because quite frankly, they're all really fun. But as a company, Dave and I are really focused on kids' fitness and making sure that they're going to get a good workout. We've learned over the years that if you design well, that they're going to get a full body workout, literally meaning lower body, legs, calves, upper body, or in your mid core and your whole upper body from all the climbing walls and running and jumping and things of that nature. And, mothers send their kids home exhausted when they've had a good day of play.
Absolutely. Dave, why don't you chime in on this topic? What are you seeing in terms of, our facilities adding these new attractions? Is there more of a focus on redesign? And, if someone had 75 to 100K for a new attraction, what should that attraction be? Like, what should owners invest into? Oh, Dave, I don't think we can hear
We
you.
can't hear you, Dave.
Your headphones might be unplugged. Bob, do you have anything on this?
Yeah, could you do me a favor? Repeat the question one more time.
No problem. If someone had, 75 to 100K to invest on a new attraction, what attraction would that be? Because there's so many options out there, right?
Whew, that's a good one. I would say it just depends again on the facility. That's a good chunk of money no matter what you do. The glider rail system that I mentioned to you is fun. And it is, are you there, Dave? We got you back on?
Yeah, I'm here now, I believe.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You want to answer that one?
Yeah. I think one of the things that I was going to bring up before, I apologize for that mic situation. Right now, I think we're in what I would call a hybrid society. And by that, I mean there are new attractions, new concepts coming out every year. I think it's really, really coming out a lot with regard to the industry of VR and things like that, and immersion, e-games, things like that. But what's really becoming popular again are things like soft play. Soft play has been around for 35 years, but now it's been changed. There are so many more different play options and play attractions in it. And it's something that is always going to be around. But what's also great about it is that it, hello, can you hear me still? Am I on?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Everything went away. What's really great about it is it's a self-contained, non-supervised attraction. And it's also at the core of a lot of birthday parties. And one other point I wanted to make, there's a new society out there 10 years ago, you could not charge a parent for an admission fee. They would balk and go crazy, nor could you charge a toddler, say years 1 to 4, for an admission fee into your facility. These days, it's an accepted concept that's normally charged. And what that's let us be able to do is create toddler areas that are quite strong, very visual and very interactive. And it's a place where the parent can actually work with the kids and be there as they go through the little toddler attractions. So it's, I see that happening in the industry quite a bit. And as Bob said before, there's a push towards attractions that don't need as much staffing. That's what
Yeah.
I've seen.
And adding to what Dave said, so soft play basically, for those that are unfamiliar, it's the play structures you see at a McDonald's playground, right? That industry is going through a major revolution right now. Here in Dubai, we were showing some new concepts that literally look, it's like somewhere between the steel that's used for trampolines and then the soft play steel. There's a combination of the two, where we're building structures that have this very impressive look and feel. So it doesn't have to be something just for little kids. In fact, in Uptown Jungles that I own, we build our parks so that it really can cater to adults as well. So in good design for something like this, we want to make sure that parents can walk underneath, for instance, walk underneath the unit and see their kids as they're playing. So we've been working with Sky Zone and had some discussions with them on some things, and they love the fact that when we designed these big play units, parents can have a 6 to 8 foot wide open space to walk, talk to the kids, see them where they're playing, those types of things. But we're also integrating some of our rail systems and some of our gliders up right into the actual soft play units, because they are so safe and they're so self-running that we can kind of now enhance the way that these look. We're also involving LED lighting and putting in some visual effects on the floor and on the ceiling levels, so that it becomes way more than just a static unit. It actually feels like it's come to life with good theming panels, as Dave mentioned. And we try to wrap a story line or integrate the brand integration of whatever our client's brand is into those.
And also one major change that we've seen, very strong. We've done it in about 4 or 5 facilities. Is trampoline places are now realizing that the concept of the flat trampoline has gone by the wayside, and what they're doing is pulling a certain number of trampolines out and then putting new attractions in their place to kind of upgrade their facility and become what we're calling adventure parks. And that's a very strong trend these days.
And just one last thing to do with what Dave just said. Also, the insurance companies are no longer going to insure trampoline centric parks. They've given notice to all these parks that only have trampolines and saying you've got to have a bigger mix or we're not going to be able to insure you next year.
Yeah, you were mentioning Dave soft play, and I was thinking about the conversation that we had on Monday about liability, right? We want to
Yes.
try to get, more soft play and just more attractions that have less liability so that these parks can get a better deal on their insurance and whatnot. I was wondering if maybe you could speak to that a little bit.
Well, I think what a lot of park owners don't realize, and when Bob and I first put our company together, one of the first agreements or moves that we made was to become a U.S. based corporation and to seek U.S. based insurance, which we have. We have full completed projects as well as liability insurance, and we're considered the manufacturer of anything we put up. There's a lot of companies from overseas that basically can sell you the equipment, but it stops there because should someone get hurt at the facility, they don't have an ability to go overseas and litigate any case. And Bob had mentioned us, trying to come up with as many new products as we can, but it's, something that we do in gradual stages where we test it and we run test after test, and we make sure that whatever we come up with is a safe product, because In our 5 years, we have never had a liability claim, and we hope to keep that intact. We're very strong with our after install follow up. Every client gets a operations and install manual as well as a maintenance manual that has weekly, daily, quarterly reports that they should fill out. Because you mentioned liability in the insurance companies. Should there be an accident at your park, the first thing that the insurance company is going to come in and ask for is, where are your maintenance logs? And if you cannot show them that, your case takes on a much different turn with regard to how they go forward with it. So that's an important point.
Yeah, it's a very, very serious issue that many business owners neglect, and then they regret later when the lawsuit comes. So, even our client, we have a client called Big Air, and they're an amazing company. Every one of their parks open in the morning with their crew going around with iPads, literally doing a checklist and taking photos of all the aspects of the park. Even underneath the decks, the springs are checked daily. And these are the types of things that need to happen, and it has to be logged and verified. And because if at any point, you show that you're neglecting your park, it leaves it wide open for an attorney to go after you, after the park owner. So we're really big into helping our clients understand the importance of maintenance and also keeping them clean along the way. And then if they need something that they need from us, we, way they order it, we get it repaired as soon as quick as possible. We're in the business of putting people into a lot of fun places that have potential for problems if we're not careful. We do everything we can to make sure they don't get injured, don't get hurt.
Absolutely. We're very passionate about documenting here too. So we released a resource a while back on building a playbook for your business and making sure that everything is documented. You have a process for maintaining your attractions and making sure that your staff is keeping an eye on everything and all that. So that's super important. One thing that Bob had mentioned is facilities that cater to mixed age groups, right? And so you have that section for parents to charge their laptop and do a little bit of work while their toddler is in the soft play area. Bob, can you speak to that a little bit? What are some of those designs that you all have worked on to really take facility planning to a whole new level and cater to all these different groups?
Sure. This is what.
Uh-oh, I think we're having a little bit of Dubai reception issues.
Oh, let's see here. Is that any better?
Yes,
That's
Can
Bob.
you hear me? Okay. One of the things that Dave and I are passionate about is realizing that parks are not just for kids. They're really for their parents as well, right? So, if teenagers aren't going to come, they don't want their parents around. But most of the other younger kids are going to want their parents are going to bring them and hang out with them, grandma, grandpa, some family member, aunt, uncle, neighbor. We want to make sure that they're having a good time as well. So, when you build an attraction mix, I think it's important to think about the fact that a family may have let's say a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, or maybe a little older, but there's a chance there might be a toddler in that range as well. One of the things we're seeing more and more is the need to cater to moms who have children under the age of 5. And it's not that they wouldn't have fun with the older kids, but it's often a little dangerous if they're up trying to integrate themselves in with a bunch of older kids, trampolines and so forth. So we try to create a space where these kids have a place where they can have it to themselves. So it's usually a fully enclosed, locked gate that parents can open real easy, but a way that once the little ones are in there, they remain safe. And it's really a place of safe playtime. Also that moms and dads can kind of go in and hang out with them. But in many of these cases, even the toddler, let's say we have climbing walls, we'll build into our design countertops that go around the facility or around that area, so that as parents are sitting, they can plug in their laptops, they can plug in their phones, and sit everything down in front of them, or maybe they get some snacks or food. We want a place for them to set everything down. They can just kind of chill out and relax. Another area that a lot of clients kind of forget is, good seating is important, not just, a couple chairs here and there and some sofa that they bought at a furniture store, but really well thought through seating that's placed in the right parts of the park or the center. So while they're seated, they still feel like they're connected to the rest of the family or anything else that's going on. Dave and I are working right now. We're beginning installation here very shortly on a very big project in Owasso, Oklahoma. And it's about a 40,000 square foot facility. And the client has built, hey, Dave, how many square feet is that top level? Is like 3,000 square
Yeah,
foot?
something like that. Yeah. It's a mezzanine
So it's like
level.
giant mezzanine with all kinds of nice furniture and a little bar up there that they can serve beer and wine, have hot food brought up there for the parents. Kind of made it a really kind of a cool parent lounge with big screen TVs and nice furnishings, so they can kind of have their place and then of course look down from above while having some nice chicken wings and a cold one to quench their thirst and enjoy the evening or the afternoon while hanging out. So and then the last thing I'd say is making sure that your attractions are even for the littler ones have a place for mom and dad to go. So if you really want them to participate, we got to make sure that those places are inviting for them. In fact, in my parks, we do something kind of different. Children are full price, their parents are half off. So it's kind of a reverse model of what you see at a fast food restaurant or what have you. But we feel, considering probably only 15% of our parents play in the parks that we build, maybe 20%, or at least in my parks. We're trying to get those numbers up by creating environments and places and ways that they can come and be part of the experience with their kids.
I love that. And I just remembered that Chrissy had sent a couple of designs that you all worked on. So I want to go ahead and share my screen and you all can tell us a little bit more about these great designs. So we have the first one over here. I don't know if Bob or Dave, you want to chime in here.
I can jump in on this one. This is a view from that mezzanine deck that Bob talked about. And if you'll notice, it's kind of a little bit hard to decipher from this particular photo, but the actual entrance is contained so that everyone will check in and go through one lane. And to the left-hand side of the entrance right there will be where the birthday parties check in. And then they have their own entrance gate, which is very secured. That gives us the ability for the party host to kind of corral everyone to that party and then lead them back to the party. What you see here is a part of the soft play unit. There's a very large soft play unit here.
On the left.
Yeah, on the left, right in front of you is the high ropes course, which they will have the games and arcade items underneath. Of course, that's something we don't provide. And then this is a real good shot of the glide rail that Bob talked about. So these are 3 of the 14 attractions that we're actually putting in this park. Maybe you can pop another slide up there.
Yeah, and so from what you're seeing here on this perspective, this is actually to the left side of the building when you enter. So you'll see there on the lower left corner, this is where the Hologate 3D VR game is. To the left of that would be our climbing walls, which, by the way, we're introducing a brand new climbing wall. It's new to the industry. It doesn't really show up very well on this rendering at all because it was fine-tuned after these renderings were done, but it inverts upwards, kind of arches outwards, and as the climbers come up, we've actually built the auto belay in a channel that's up above the wall itself, and there's a cutout in the inverted element up above it. So it's kind of hard to explain, but the harness that's connected to the auto belay will move from left to right. So now it allows the climber to not just be hung from a center point and they go up and down, but they can move left to right. And then as they get to the inverted element, we have handles that they can grab and kind of free hang to try to hit the little button at the very top to score the most points. So we're doing some neat things to try to, even just break away from the norm. You can see the climbing walls on the other side is our basketball, the slam dunk. And then where you see the little hexagons, the green and yellow or green and blue hexagons, these are our new feature called the Vortex. Super popular. It's using the swinging arm apparatus from our friends at Galaxy. They build the best in the business. But what we did is we rethought how kids jump. So we got rid of all the trampoline elements because we think that they're a little bit more dangerous when you're jumping and having to jump over something. So the black part or the gray part is actually inflatable. And then the green and blue discs there, those we call them lily pads. Those are attached to the inflatable, and those are done with sealed air. So you actually get some great air on that. To the right of that is Valo Jump. Again, very popular where kids become part of a video game, jumping up and down. I mean, and that's an extremely, extremely popular attraction. Dave, do you want to kind of introduce the rest of that to the team?
Yeah, something that we've kind of developed, I think we're one of the only firms in the industry doing it, to try to alleviate some of the issues in trampoline usage. We've developed a hexagonal trampoline that is basically about 6.5, 7 feet wide, each trampoline. Now, what this does is it kind of signals to the kids to have one person on each trampoline. 85% of the accidents in trampoline usage come from double bouncing. 2 kids on a trampoline and one will come down at a different time and turn the leg over and either break an ankle or break a knee. So what we're trying to do is eliminate the long runs. Now, our client here wanted a few of the longer runs, and of course we're trying to address and keep the client as happy as possible. So we put them in. You see that on the very right side. At the top above is the dodgeball court. That has always been a very limited liability activity center. Accidents just don't happen there as much because the kids are concentrated more on dodging the ball and things like that, as opposed to jumping up and creating situations. So
hey Dave,
yeah.
and real quickly, I thought I'd share something. So I just learned something here in Dubai. So our friends from Rugged Technologies, they're here, and we were talking about dodgeball and how much fun it is. Some of the new innovations we're trying to work on. I didn't realize this. Did you know that in most parts, everywhere but in the United States, dodgeball is not fun? It's kind of one of those games they didn't really participate in much because it was kind of ousted years and years ago because it was considered a little bit, a little hard on. I said, wow, I'm blown away because in America, most kids have grown up playing dodgeball. So it's still, in all of my parks, is the most popular of all the features. I don't think dodgeball will ever die, although I did hear that some schools are not allowing it anymore because it's considered a little bit, whatever in today's political world. But I thought that was just a little interesting little piece of information that dodgeball is really an American phenomenon.
Oh yeah, that definitely is pretty interesting. Kind of makes sense that it would kind of blow up here, right, and not so much overseas. Moving over to the kind of closer look on that rock climbing wall, that looks pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, it's got some neat stuff on it. In the center there, we're one of the only companies that does it. I know there are some others that do it, but we call it the Stairway to Heaven, and it does not look challenging until you try it. Those are basically 12-inch columns that go up a foot each one as you go around. You're on a belay system attached in the middle of it, and the object, of course, is to climb all the way up to the very top column and stand on a 12-inch circle on the top of that. It's pretty challenging, especially for little kids.
Oh
yeah. And then you see an airbag jump kind of in the lower middle right there. So that's where the kids actually step up on a raised deck. And that airbag is actually 6 feet deep, and it goes 3 feet underground, 3 feet above ground, which gives us plenty of height and depth. So we get a nice little jump into the airbag. There's 2 different levels. Believe it or not, a 4 or 5 foot jump, 6 foot jump, sounds kind of unintimidating until you stand there and you're like, wow. So we give them an option for a lower jump. And everything is ASTM standard. So, we follow everything that's according to these ASTM standards around the US. Including, we're learning that in many cases, like in California, there's some new fire standards where they're saying that if you have a soft play unit, it cannot be placed directly up against a wall. Now, this is depending on the state. So we look into this because we don't like losing the square footage. But in some states now, they're requiring to have a 5-foot walkway around a soft play unit in case there was ever a fire. Now, in the case of Owasso, where this is going, we don't have those issues. But, there's always these kind of things going on we got to be aware of.
Something else that I would add also, now this is a flash of the soft play unit, but what I would add also is that, and this has a lot to do with the pandemic that's been around and just general hygiene. We have not put in a foam pit probably in 2 to 3 years, a foam cube pit, because they can become very dirty, they can be germ infested, and we've replaced them with instead airbags. And we've had, and what's great about the airbags is they can be logoed and you can have graffiti on them, so you can create a visual out of the airbags as well. The soft play unit, the client wanted to have a theme of shipping containers. So that's what you see there, where you see the large Airtopia with the look, and the red unit that you see there looks like the end of a container. But this soft play unit itself can hold about 180 kids in it. So it's a very large soft play unit. Right next to it, Bob designed this. Why don't you tell them about the toddler area, Bob?
Yeah, so what I tried to do is create a toddler space, but instead of keeping everything on the ground, we actually went 2 and 3 levels, keeping in mind too that the parents can go in all levels with the kids. So this is where we use every inch of square footage. In other words, instead of going wide and going deep, we also went tall. So what's kind of neat is when you walk up to the front of this unit, which you'll kind of see there in the far left, you might see little toddlers right above you in the main archway on a little carousel that's fully electric, and they sit on their little space car and their little rocket ship going around. It moves very slowly, but they can explore through the whole space, which gives them a lot of places to go and lets mom and dad kind of be part of the adventure. And one of the things that you can kind of see in this rendering, there's beautiful wall graphics that we placed around all of our parks. And it's one of the things we pride ourselves in. We're not just guys that slap a bunch of equipment in a place and call it a day. We really want to be part of your brand, part of your experience. And we make sure that everything you look at fits into the theme, the look and the feel. So all the graphics around the toddler area have like little miniature planets and little rocket ships. But also, just so you know, in that corner there is between the 2 corners, the logo appears 6 different times. Not only Airtopia, but AirTots, which is the brand that I created for them. So we really helped build the brand because moms are going to be taking pictures of their kids everywhere. And we feel that, there's no better time to capture social media than while you're at the park. Having the logo placed in the predominant places that are going to get good eyeballs put on it and cameras catching it and so forth is the best use of money and time because the ways of traditional marketing are definitely changing. So hashtags, all those kind of things are going to be a great way to build your brand.
Oh yeah, signage everywhere. We always preach that too. Very cool.
Yeah.
This looks like a lot of fun. I wish I was in Oklahoma right now. I could check out this facility. So I have one more question for you guys, but before I get to that, I just wanted to let the audience know if you all have any questions for Bob and Dave, we still have a few minutes. So if you could pop them in either the Q&A section or the chat, we'll be sure to answer those questions. So my last question though, in the meantime, to you all is, why is playtime so important? We kind of talked about this during our rehearsal, so I'd love to talk about this.
Well, I will start out on this one real quick. One of the things that we as an industry sell, and I'm a firm believer in it, is we sell the concept of motion. And by that, I mean, we get kids active, we get people moving around, because our society is one where a 2-year-old will start to show interest in a cell phone or be looking at cartoons all day on TV. A 3-year-old will be fooling around with an iPad. And then when a kid gets to be 7, 8 years old, Then they start with the Nintendo games and all the gaming at home. And between that and whatever cell phone they land on, they become a very static society. Our kids, there's an obesity problem in our society now, and what we like to think is that our places and our facilities, and Bob will tell you what goes on the back of his shirts at his places when he gets into this, but that's what we sell. We sell activity, we sell movement, we sell motion, and uh, it's also something where the parents um, get themselves out of the house. All the little counters that we put around can become gathering points for two or three moms or two or three fathers that are sitting and being with their friends while they're watching their kids play and have fun. So it does become a real family activity, but it's very important to health. And that's one of the things that we really push. Bob?
Well, this is a passion play for me as well. When I built my first park, I quickly noticed, how sweaty the kids were getting, and it reminded me of being on the playground when I was in school. But one of the biggest compliments we got when we opened Uptown Jungle was parents would say, "Oh, my kid went home. They were so tired. They were exhausted." And it was actually some of our employees in one of our parks in Arizona that helped us come up with a new slogan, which was Uptown Jungle, wearing out kids since 2014. And that's a big compliment we get. Parents love the fact that their kids get a workout. So, I actually bought these very expensive suits by a company called Athos that was a full body suit neck. It was two-piece with 24 sensors built in them. It measures all the major muscle groups. And we put them on the young boys, and we had one for girls. And we would, we in an average day, we'd have a couple kids try, but we did it for like a week. And we got all kinds of phenomenal data. But what we really learned is that kids literally are getting a full body workout when they enter an adventure park. So when you think about it, you're jumping on a trampoline, you're using all the legs, you're using some core. When they're going to play at a play unit, usually they're climbing up the stairs, but then they're crawling. They're going to hang on things. They're going to climb up things using all their upper body. So, I think we often forget what a powerful thing playtime can be. And I actually wanted to start by saying something that brings it to its most simple core. If you study and look at nature, you can look at little animals after they have gone through as soon as they're, strong enough to stand on their own and, explore a bit, they begin to play, right? Think about all kinds of different animals. Well, we as humans do the same thing. As infants, once we can kind of stand and play, we want to play as well. And playtime is a big part of our society that I think we've missed. Right now, 72% of schools in the U.S., middle schools and junior highs, have decreased their playtime from 10 years ago, upwards of 50 to 60%. So think about that. When we were kids in recess, there was a need for it. We needed a place to blow off steam, have a little fun, so we could refocus. Kids today don't get that time. So where are they going to get it? Then they come home, then they go on their video games, or they get into their homework. Maybe they play sports, but this is where our business really helps fulfill that need. And Dave, I think you came up with a brilliant new slogan. We're gonna have Chrissy make note of that. We sell motion, so maybe they go fun in motion or fitness in motion or whatever it is, right? That's the perfect analogy, Dave, because really it's all about keeping people moving. And when we're moving, our bodies feel better, our minds feel better, and so we're in a business that promotes everything good. Not just physical health, mental health, which kids struggle. We all struggle with today. We need a place to build our confidence. So imagine if you have a park where a kid is climbing a climbing wall and he gets scared and stops maybe 6 feet up. We talk to our employees and say, look, that's a time to mentor a kid. You say, look, would you like to continue? And they're not sure. That some kids want to come down. We encourage them maybe one more step. But let's say they take a step or two and then they want to come down. That's when you drop to one knee after they've come to the floor and you look them right in the eye, you point up to where they just were, and you say, look how high you went. I'm so proud of you. You did great today, right? And these are the moments where we can make a difference in a kid's life, because maybe in their world, that was the most petrifying thing they've ever experienced, where other kids are like monkeys climbing up and down, doing all their free hanging, whatever they want to do. But in that child's life, this is an opportunity to build them up. And so maybe the next time they make it, they go a little higher. In fact, in most of our, when a kid has gone through this experience, usually by the time they leave, they've gone higher or they make it to the top. And these are really significant things when we consider that all of us need encouragement in life, right? All of us need a way to feel better about ourselves. So when we can say, good job, I'm proud of you. Hey, Mom, did you see what they just did? These are great ways to bond families. And my last thought is, we're also in a business that brings families together, whatever that family looks like. It's a place that's like hallowed ground, in my opinion. Because there are a lot of places in this world that don't do that doesn't do that, excuse me. But we do. In our business, we bring aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, moms, dads, sisters, brothers. We bring everybody together, and they come in for a time of fun. So we're lucky that everybody in our business gets to make a living with fun time and play.
I love that. And, we talked about too how important socialization is right now, especially how kids are growing up. And in the last 2 years, I mean, how many kids had to go to homeschool, had to do online school, so that is very, very important. And that's why I love to be in this industry too, because we prioritize that. So that was definitely a
Yes.
great point, Bob. Absolutely. Michael Daughtry in the chat asks if he can get Dave's phone number. Michael, don't worry. I'm going to send you all that information. It's going to be in the follow-up email. So you're going to get Dave's phone number. You're going to get Bob's phone number. You're going to get their emails. So don't worry. That's coming. We also have a couple questions from Megan. So first off, how long does a project like the one that we showed on the screen for Airtopia take to build? And since you have multiple vendors, do you all do it from the ground up, or do you find a location and build to fit?
Well, the way I will answer that is we have one or two multiple vendors in there where we'll bring in equipment. We feel that, for example, the climbing rope, harnesses and things like that, we like the US product better. So even though that's a small out purchase on our part, we'll bring them in here. But the timeline for that whole location is between 48 and 60 days. So basically 2 months of the team being there on site. The reason that we have a fudge factor in there is sometimes the facility itself is in kind of not a complete stage, and we have to work around some of the different contractors. We find that often. But that's normally something that size would be anywhere from 45 to 60 days.
And one of the ways we keep that moving smoothly, as Dave mentioned, it can be difficult at times, but we have a whole logistics team that literally from the time that everything began to ship, we work carefully with the general contractor to make sure that they know when everything's arriving. We also do a staging diagram stating, hey, and that's 40,000 square foot space. When those containers arrive, we need a place to store everything. We don't want to move it 3 times. We don't want to move it twice. We don't have to. So we make sure that everything knows where it's supposed to go, so that when the construction process begins, it can be as quick and fast and efficient as possible. So, these things take, like Dave said, a month and a half to 2 months. The production process of building it takes 3 to 4 months. Well, I'd say 2 to 3 months for us to make it, and then it takes a good month to ship. So it's like a 6-month process, 6 to 7 months.
Very cool. Well, if anybody has any more questions, I'm going to send the follow-up email shortly after we get the recording of this video. So you will have a way to contact United Play with any sort of questions that you might have. Bob and Dave, thank you so much for making the time today. This was awesome. Learned so much.
Thank you for giving us the time.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely do this again, maybe at the end of the year or early next year, we'll collaborate again. And I'm sure, we'll come on Funpreneurs at some point too. So it's going to be good. Well, I just wanted to announce our latest resource for you all, so you can go ahead and grab it. It's how to use reporting data to grow your business. So this is a new resource. It's featuring 8 of our most popular reports in Party Center software. So if you want a little bit more information on how to use data and maximize it for your business, as well as if you're a Party Center software customer, what are our best reports to pull? All that info is in here. So be sure to head over to this link to download that. And of course, last month, we released the 2021 online booking study that I had mentioned. So if you need data on, the latest insights from the industry that we collect every year from our software, you can go ahead and check out this link as well and get that download in your inbox. If you want to contact United Play for now, head over to their website, but Chrissy is going to send me all their contact info. And again, you'll get that in the follow-up email. And our next webinar in April is going to be with Shane from Delta Strike. So if you're curious about laser tag fundamentals, how to make money with laser tag at your facility, stay tuned. The landing page will be up for that soon. So thank you all for joining us today. This was great.
And I'd like to thank Party Center Software for inviting us on. Thank
No
you much.
problem. Absolutely. Anytime. We love doing stuff like this with our partners. So we'll definitely do it again. And yeah, thank you all for joining us today. You have a good one.
All right, folks.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys. Good luck. Appreciate it. Take care, everyone.
Take care.